Hi everyone and welcome to the quick reference for the Curves Workbench tools. We're going to be explaining the IsoCurve today. What this does is create a series or a network of curves over an object of your choosing. So let's come over to the part and use something like a primitive object. Let's start with a cube. So we can explore the IsoCurves on here. Come to the Curves Workbench and select Face. And click on the IsoCurve or Surfaces IsoCurve. A compound object will be created on top of that surface. Now it's important to know it's a compound object because we can use that in the part workbench and explode it. The number U and V will divide the surface by that amount. So in this case it's looking along the horizontal and vertical relative to that selected surface. If we come to the mode of single, we see we can define a single U or a single V, and we can set the parameter. Now this cube is 10 millimeters. So if we create another cube in here in the part workbench and create a second cube and set this to 20 millimeters all round, so width, height and length, and I'm just going to transform it and place this over here. So we have two cubes. One has an IsoCurve on there, you can see at the top there, and this one I'm going to do the same. Come over to the Curves Workbench and place an IsoCurve on there, and also set that to a single looking along the V and parameter of 0. So if I set this parameter to say 20, then you see that the vertices here, it's actually showing up in green, so it's moved to the edge of that cube. I can't go any further, so I set this to 100, it goes back to 20. If I set this to 10, it will sit in the middle. So this shows that the U and V is bounded by the size of the object. The same with the IsoCurve on the smaller cube. If I set the parameter say 20, then this will go back to 10, so the midpoint is 5. Compare that to say a sphere over in the part workbench. Place a sphere here and we'll create two the same, so a small sphere and a larger one, and we'll set this to double the size, so 10 on the radius, and transform that. I can do the same, but we see the parameter changes. So let's come over to the Curves Workbench and add the IsoCurve. So you can see the IsoCurves have been added to that object there. And then set this to single, and you can see it there. And the same for this one. An IsoCurve, and set the IsoCurve to single as well. And let's hide these and the IsoCurves of the cube. So we can see the two IsoCurves there. And both of those are set to 0 at the moment. Let's set this to 100 and see what the topmost parameter is. It's 6.28. Let's have a look at this one as well. So set this to 100 and that's 6.28. So as you can see, we're not dealing anymore with diameter, we're actually dealing with radians. So this is values of pi. So in 360 degrees, there's 6.28. If I set this to 3.14, then we'll see it on the other side. And the same with this one, 3.14. And we see it there. So you can see how the parameter, the position of that U or V, is relative and is influenced by the owner shape. But what use does this have in FreeCAD? Let's create a simple sweep. So I'm going to come over to the sketcher and create a sketch on the XY plane. And create something like a slot. I'm going to hit close. And I'm going to create another sketch. So I'm going to place the sketch at this point here. New sketch, translate, and OK that. And I'm going to place some geometry in here. So I'm going to place a curve that goes up like this. And while I'm here, I'm going to close that and adjust the position of this curve. Click on the sketch, look at the map mode, translate, and I'm going to use the button on the end and select another reference. So reference 2, selecting, and I'm going to select this line here. And I'm going to set normal to edge. So I flip this up the other way here. That's okay that. Let's come back to the sketch. And though it's flipped this way, I don't really want it flipped that way. Let's delete that and create a new curve in here going up like this. We'll set some tangency against the horizontal line, tangent constraint, and we'll place another curve going up like so. Again with tangency, let's take these two, create tangency, okay that, and another curve. So we're going to come out this way, something like that, escape and set the tangency between these two as well. So we've got this curve in here. If I hit close and sweep this over in the part workbench using a sweep and selecting this profile, selecting sweep path, and what I'll do is select all the edges that I want to sweep along, hit done and OK. I've swept that along there, and we'll just make some thickness on here as well. So we'll use the offset, and we'll create an offset there. We'll fill the offset and set this to something like 2 mil. So we've created this shape. Now let's say that I wanted to come in and create some kind of feature on here, and I want to hug these curves. So I can click on this face. We'll first come over to the Curves workbench, select that face and create an IsoCurve. You can see we got the IsoCurves going across there. This, as I said, is a compound object. So that's set the number of U to say 7. So we've got 7 of those going across here. Only want 1 on the V. That's all I want. Might not even use that. So I've got the IsoCurve. That's come back to the part workbench. With that, I take the IsoCurve, come up to the part, compound, and explode the compound. And you notice that I've got exploded IsoCurve within here. So I've got all of these IsoCurves. That means I can use these in, say, well, let's take this one and extrude it. And we'll extrude it by something like 3 millimeters and keep it symmetrical. And okay. So we've extruded that IsoCurve there. So I'm just going to hide that. You can see I've extruded that out. That can be thickened with a 3D offset. Let's send it the other way. Fill the offset. And okay, so we can build some kind of feature on the bottom that hugs this curve. So you can see when I bring back the original, that sits upon there, and this can be booleaned into the original object as well. Another reason for using the IsoCurve, because they hug the surface, let's say we wanted some kind of feature along here. For instance, let's hide the offset. Click on it and press the spacebar. Let's hide this as well. And then underline and extrude. And I'm just going to click on each of the geometry, press the spacebar just to hide them. And what we'll do is attach a sketch on here, and we'll sweep through this. So let's create a sketch. In the sketcher, new sketch, place it along the XY plane. We'll put it in the center, and I'm just going to use a circle. So we're moving quite quickly through this. Let's close that. So I've got the circle here. This is my profile for the sweep. I can now take that profile, let's hide these, collapse them, this sketch, and look at the map mode. It's got nothing there at the moment, it's deactivated. We'll come in and select, let's come over to the other side, this side here and select this vertex. And then using the second reference, make sure it's saying selecting. If not, just click on here. We'll select the curve and use the normal to edge. So it's sitting along that edge like so. Okay, that. Now we know it's IsoCurve 7 that we want as the path. That's come over to the part workbench. Use the sweep. Select the sketch. I'm going to set it as solid and sweep path. I'm going to select that IsoCurve. Hit done and hit OK. We've created a sweep that follows that curve along there. So we've got this sweep here, and you can see the sketch within. Let's shrink that down a bit. And the path it's taken. Again, that can be boolean back in to here. So we can create features along here. We can even create features such as knurling or textured surfaces by using such things as an array along there. So that's the IsoCurve. It can be applied to sweeps, lofts, primitive geometry, extrudes, anything that has a face. So I hope that's helped you understand the IsoCurve and a couple of applications that you can use for it. Thanks a lot, and I hope to see you in the next video. If you like what you see and you want to donate to the channel, then you can do so via PayPal at paypal.com/paypalme/Darren B. Eastone, or at Coffee via ko-fi.com/MANG0. I also run a Patreon where you can get early access and additional content, and that's at patreon.com/MangoJellySolutions. Links can be found in the channel header, on the About page, or in the descriptions of these videos. I thank everybody that's donated so far. It really helps to keep the lights on so I can produce more content and also expand the channel. Thank you for liking, commenting and subscribing to these videos, and I hope to see you again in the next one.